Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Last night, we watched the Knicks pull off a nice win, ladies and gentlemen, versus the Sacramento Kings. Granted, it was the worst defense in the league, but the Knicks managed to pull off a really good win versus Sacramento Kings. They scored 140 points, 77 points in the first half. And it was almost 80 if that Reggie Bullock three would have counted. They showed out last night. They showed out for sure. We'll see if they can continue to play with this kind of offensive tenacity. You know, we'll find out. Was it just because they were playing against the Kings? Or is it real? Can they continue to play this way? You know what I mean? We're going to talk about a lot of stuff to talk about. Obi Toppin's in the slam dunk contest. Talk about that a little bit. There could be a guard controversy in New York because Frankie Smokes got to play last night and he played well. What's that mean for Elfrid Payton? Then we got the early playoff race. The Knicks could literally move into fourth place after tonight if everybody loses. Let's talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll begin by a quick reflection of last night, and then we'll get into the get down and talk NBA. Let's get it. Yes, sir. You see, I got my guys here in the chat. We're going to go ahead and get this thing popping, man. Andy, what's popping with you, brother? How you feel?
What up, guys? What up to you, Sim? What up to the panel? What up to the chat? Like you probably know, when we were backstage, you know, I just was wrapping up the game because I just had the chance to finish it up. So it was like, you know, a minute and 20 seconds, you know, ago that I ended. And, you know, I also told you I wasn't supposed to be on tonight's show. But when I saw Frank in the first half, you know, the limits were off. We all knew that I'm going to be here.
Yeah. So, Andy, since you just watched the game, you know, we had a chance to sleep on it. Right? So your shoot around is tomorrow. You know, our shoot around is now. Give us your initial reactions of the game, and then I'll get Divine's overnight reaction.
There you go.
Well, you know, to be true, I don't like these kind of games. You know, scoring 140 points for no matter which team, if it's the Knicks or not Knicks, bro. I hate this kind of basketball. I rather the games end, you know, 105 to something, and you know that would be enough for me. And it's not like I don't want, like, you know, like scoring, right? I like it, but this defense on the part of the Kings was atrocious. We had so many open shots. We could do basically everything. And if you watch the Knicks closely, you saw that they like finished the play after the first or second pass because they already had the position open. So they didn't even have to run the play, you know, through. They just had the position open. They were, you know, crazy, you know, surprised about having those open shots. You know, of course, it helped by quickly Rose and Burks having special, you know, offensive nights because they were making like really high percentage, you know, on the field goal. The shooting percentage was off the charts today. And, you know, having 77 points in the first half was wow. And it was almost 80, like you said, because, you know, that it was like a split second and a fingernail on the, you know, on the sideline line. So it was crazy.
Right.
And, you know, like I mentioned, you know, Frankie was on the court and he showed up. And most impressive, and I'm not even, you know, even going to talk about the defense, but because I think he was the best defender on the court today. But his conditioning, I was surprised because he basically didn't play for 2 months and he came out on the court. Of course, he broke a sweat, but he was playing 23 minutes. And if you're not playing any minutes for 2 months and you come out on an NBA game, on an NBA court versus a fast, you know, paced team like the Kings, you got to have great conditioning to manage to be playing all those minutes and not asking for a sub.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And, you know, obviously this doesn't keep you in NBA shape, but they said while he was quarantined in a hotel in Miami, you know, they sent in a bike, you know, to make sure that he could, continue to exercise, stay in shape, and this and that. But it still doesn't do anything. I mean, you get out there against NBA competition, it is definitely different. Now, I don't know how long he's been back with the team, from quarantine, but maybe he's had a chance to at least work out a little bit, but definitely. It was a good accomplishment for him to be able to stay out there and play 23 minutes without needing a little bit of a break, so that was definitely good. A couple of things that do worry me about like games like last night when you play against a team that, defensively they're not good and you're able to get everything that you want. It's you don't get to run through your plays like you're saying because you're getting open buckets, but you play against a weaker defense and then you got to go play against a good defense, and all of a sudden you're not used to that level of pressure. Right? Because you just played against a defense that was a little bit softer and allows you to relax a little bit more. And I get afraid that it might take 6 minutes for them to get used to the pressure that's going to come from the Indiana Pacers. You know what I mean? Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully they get it. They understand it because they played the Indiana Pacers before. Right, they've played them twice already this season. They lost once and they beat them once, so they should know, what kind of pressure the Pacers are going to bring. And maybe, we were talking last night, and we're going to get into a little bit more about the Pacers. But Domantas Sabonis has been named to the All-Star team because Kevin Durant is not playing. So now, maybe Domantas Sabonis is a little bit more satisfied, and he don't have to try to come off and drop 30 to prove a point. Who knows? But anyway, last night was very nice game, feel-good game. Now the Knicks got to follow it up, but a feel-good game from the Knicks last night. Divine, what are your reactions now that you've had a chance to, reflect on it, sit on the game for a night, and looking back at it, what's your how do you reflect on it?
Okay, real quick, salute to the panel, salute to the chat. Welcome, Zachary. You got the same last name as I do, man, so we better do some research. The same name is Staten, too, so.
Say it spelled the same, big bro?
Staton, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Question for you real quick before you get going. How many times you been called Station, Stanton?
Plenty.
Oh, my Lord.
Plenty, bro. Plenty. Yep.
Oh, anyway.
Well, welcome to the panel, man.
Thanks, bro. Thanks to everybody for having me. Thanks, Sam.
Yep. Sacramento Kings, no resistance, man. That is crazy to have a defense play like that, man, with all the athletic guys. So, my take from last night ain't too much change, man. An atrocious defense, no resistance with guys who are athletic like Harrison Barnes, Holmes, and them cats don't put up no fight. I don't know if that's a testament to the coach or not, or what Walton got going on down there, but they must have just bailed down on him, man. Lose 9 straight, don't play no defense. I think it's the writings on the wall. But I just think that, we played a team who wasn't contesting nothing, you know what I mean? And other than quickly, giving us what they gave us last night, didn't give us the previous game. I think Westchester Knicks could have put up 100 on them last night, man. I really do, man. that was crazy, bro.
They probably could have.
Yeah, I think Jared Harper them and Iggy Bradley would have gave them the business last night, man. That was crazy, man. But I ain't mad but I think with, Derrick Rose, he did spark that start lineup pretty good last night. You know what I mean? So I think from that standpoint, Julius Randle did what he did, but it doing too much change from last night. So I woke up this morning, the same way. It's like, you know what? Them cats didn't come and play. They didn't play no defense, and they just let us run amok in the last quarter, especially Alex Burks got hot in the last quarter. He really did, man. That was a beautiful sight to see. But it was so crazy, man. If our team would click like that on a regular, because even against Golden State, we scored 104. And quickly, RJ and Bullock, them cats didn't even, and Burke didn't even have a good game. But if they have a game like that more consistent, we probably score more points. You know what I mean? And Golden State got a good defense. So for that, we get to do 104 on them, but to come back and put 140 on these guys, the way they told me is that them guys didn't even come up on the defense then, and we just came to play pretty hard. Quickly had a phenomenal bounce back game. I'm glad to see that happen. But don't too much change from last night other than Sacramento King defense is just terrible.
Right. And you know, the thing about it is that these guys, the reason why they only get paid a certain amount of money, the reason why Alec Burks, you know, is a journeyman is because basically he's unable to play can play at that level consistently. You know what I mean? And you know, that's basically the reason why these guys only get paid a certain amount of money, and they've jumped from NBA team to NBA team because teams are always looking for, all right, we see what we can be when he's consistent, but this guy can't stay consistent. So we need to find somebody who can be consistent. You know what I mean? And, you know, so then it becomes, okay, who's the next guy? Who's the guy that we can get that can become that can do this consistently for us, you know? And that's one of the issues. And I'm not downplaying Alec Burks. You know, what he gives us is what he gives us. He's only making $6 million a year. But, you know, that's the reason why he's a journeyman. And yeah, we probably would score more points per game if he could play that way every night. But he doesn't. He's not going to play that way every night, you know. And you know, he may go for a stretch. He might give us a stretch, but it's probably not going to be every night. Zach, welcome to the panel. Give us your reflection on last night. If you follow the shoot around, you know, we always start with just a reflection on last night, and then we're going to go into how does Tom Thibodeau address the team today, moving forward, and you know, to look at tomorrow. But start off with just give me your reflection from last night after you've had some time to sleep on it.
Last night, I feel like a team like the Kings, what you were saying about the defense being the worst, it's the worst defense in basketball, if I'm not mistaken. That's a get right game, especially for a team with like a challenged offense that like we have compared to our top defense. That's a game last night where I feel like you can carry confidence from a game like that to the next game or two. Mm-hmm. Your players can feel good about themselves. You know, Quickly's been slumping, Rose has been slumping, certain guys have been slumping, and they all look good last night. So I feel like that can carry on to Indiana. But I really liked. I think it can't be understated enough how Derrick Rose started out that game as a starter. He came out hot. I think he looks a lot better in the starting lineup. I like that a lot. I know Alfred was hurt, and we'll see what happens when he comes back healthy. But it was just an all-around solid game on offense. I mean, obviously our season high in points, 140 points, but our defense didn't look the greatest. Definitely things that we can improve on that Tibbs can improve on as a team. But it's easier to take lessons like that from a win than it is for a loss. I mean, we put up 140. You just Quickly had a good game. Burks was on fire in the fourth, but like you said, that's not going to be sustainable. So I guess it was just something like it's just going to be hard. Like you can't expect him to have, 4 threes back to back in the fourth like that.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right.
You can't expect that to happen all the time. So
exactly.
I like the way Rose looked with the starters. I really do. I think he just looks a lot better. We got out to a faster start with him. And his defense, you suffer a little bit on defense because Alfred's a better defender, but we just looked like we could play at a little bit of faster pace if we have to. We don't always have to just grind it out like we do when guys like Peyton are on the floor. So, but when it comes to Indiana, I don't think, like you said, you're afraid we might have a slow 6 minutes, the first 6 or 7 minutes to adjust to that better defense. I feel like our best player, Julius Randle, is going to set the tone against Indiana because Domantas Sabonis is not a good defender. He can't hold Randle. So if Rose is still in the starting lineup and we can get him as Randle's consistent second option to start the game, I feel like we're going to have a better start than people realize against Indiana. Okay. I feel like we're going on a little run.
I think lately, though, even with Alfred Payton in there, we've been having pretty good starts to the game. I mean, we've been going out. You know, we've been jumping out to like 11-point leads, 12-point leads, 14-point leads, and then losing them, you know. And, you know, we'll see what happens when we will see what happens when Elfrid Payton gets back. I do think it's going to be a couple of days, a couple of games. You know, when you have a sore hamstring, it's nothing to play with because you don't want to pull it. Once you pull it, you can be out for a little while, right? So you don't want to pull your hamstring. You know, so it's the smart move to let him rest a little bit, make sure that it's 100%, make sure he's getting plenty of fluids. You know, if it's feeling a little bit tight, you just don't want to take chances with that. He was out last year with a hamstring, and he missed 18 games. Okay, you know, and of course we've already heard, the talks about, you know, you got to move Payton, this, that, and the third. Listen, we climbed into one game of 500 with Payton out there, so it's not like this is a new revelation for us. You know what I mean? He's been a big part of what we've done. So no let's I don't want to throw any hate his way. Now, will Derrick Rose take over that start? No, I'm not saying that you were. But will Derrick Rose take over that starting spot? It's possible. You know why? He has better court vision, right? He's been in the league longer. He's a more heady player than Elfrid Payton. He's a much more heady player. And it's hard to say from last night's game if things that they did is what's going to stick. So that's why I think tomorrow's game against Indiana is going to be the barometer, right? Derrick Rose was able to find Julius Randle on some nice pick and pop plays. And if he can do that, then, that helps Julius Randle get easier buckets. He doesn't have to work as hard. And then maybe, we always talk about how we need a closer. We need a closer. We need a closer. Maybe if Derrick Rose is able to help Julius Randle get easier buckets, he has more energy come down the stretch of the game. So we'll see, how that plays out, because I think he was able to find Julius Randle a little bit easier, but let's see what happens when we play against a better defense too, right? It's hard to take anything from that because we played against the worst defense in the league. I see Chick George said that D Rose was brought in to replace Payton. Maybe, maybe not. We don't know what's in Tom Thibodeau's head, right? Most people at the beginning of the season, everyone always says what Tom Thibodeau's going to do. This is exactly what's going to happen. Last night, I said, no, Frank ain't going to play. It's probably going to be Kevin Knox. Frank Ntilikina was in the lineup, right? Nobody, I guarantee you, nobody in this chat would have thought we was going to score 77 points in the first half. We scored 77 points in the first half, right? Most people thought, you know what? Elfrid Payton ain't gonna get no burn on his team. He's gonna be down the end of the bench, right? It's Derrick. What's his name? Dennis Smith Jr. is gonna start.
Dennis Smith,
right? So for people to just say, "Oh yeah, he was brought in to do this, that, and the third," you don't know what's going on. We'll see what happens and see the way that things shake out. But it does, of course, bring up a controversy. No doubt about it. We knew that was going to happen. As soon as this was for Elfrid Payton, right? And this is not saying anything about Rose or anyone else. This was the worst time, the worst game for him to go out with a hamstring injury. Without a doubt, the worst game for him to go out with a hamstring injury, because there was a very, very good chance that the Knicks were going to play well offensively, at least, against this team. You know what I mean? Which means that everybody was going to point to and say, you see what happens when he's not here? But let's not forget we dropped 130 points on the Bucks. We had a couple of games where we dropped 123, 124 points. We can't forget that either. But Divine, I'm going to start with you. Is there a controversy in New York? And I don't even care about the starting spot. Let's just talk about between Elf and Frank. Is there going to be a guard controversy between the two?
I think so. Somebody going to get traded. I know that much. Between one of them, because I left Frank going to say, you know what? I'm a team player. if I had to go back to the pine and don't get no burn because I'm a team player, that's the only way I can see that working. And if either one of them two going to set their role as either going to become not getting they're going to get situational minutes, time, I guess we would say. So I think it is, Sam, because the way if that team look good tomorrow like that, if that team look good tomorrow with that same lineup, and it's possible, man, because now, you talking about Frank defense coming in there doing what he's doing. He hit an open three, and he's not shooting bad this year from three, even though it's limited, but he's still shooting pretty good from three. So it could be tough, Sam. It possibly, man, because now what you're gonna do when Peyton come back? What do the Knicks do? Do they put Frank back on the pine, situational minutes, next man up thing, or he played good enough that the Tom Thibodeau might be like, damn, we playing good with Frank out here. What do we do? So right. It probably is for me.
And here's the thing. With Quickly, see, let's just say Derrick Rose ends up being the starter, right? Tom Thibodeau did allude earlier in the season that he would like to see how Elfrid Payton and Quickly, he wanted to see them more together on the floor, right? He did allude to that. But I think Quickly works better when he doesn't have to share, when he doesn't have to, when he can be the primary ball handler. Let's just say that. When he can be the primary guy, and a guy like Frank, he's going to be selective in his shot attempts. He's gonna be able to get the ball to the OBs and stuff like that, hopefully, right? But he's gonna be a little bit more passive in taking the ball to the rack and shooting the ball, and he's just gonna open it up and allow Quickly to do what he does. That's probably when Quickly plays best. So it seems like those two could work together, and it's a lineup that I've wanted to see for a while. I just didn't think Frank was gonna get off the pine. Right, but I've said a while, like I thought those two could work together. I was on blowing tears, and someone asked me, "Who do you think would work better, Dennis Smith Jr. and Quickly, or Frank Ntilikina and Quickly?" I was like, Frank Ntilikina, easy, and for all the same reasons I just said. He's a little bit more passive offensively. If you need someone to kind of settle it down, at least in the half court sense, he can do that. And then, of course, you're seeing the defense that he played last night. So he probably fits better than Quickly. Fits next to Quickly better than Elfrid Payton. I guess it comes down to the production of the squad itself. Who lends that squad to have more production? Because Elfrid Payton probably will have more production than Frank Ntilikina. So it's hard to say what's going to happen, but I do think if Elfrid Payton is out for a couple of games, and the fans' mind, there's going to be a controversy. I'm not sure if there's going to be a controversy in Tom Thibodeau's mind, right? He's going to say, I like the way this looks, and this is what I'm going with. And I think that's pretty much that's going to be it. And so the question is going to be, is it Frank or is it Elf? Andy, what do you think? What happens when Elfrid Payton comes back?
Well, let me piggyback what you said about, Frank fitting better with Quickly. For all the reasons you said, Frank would fit better with Quickly. He could fit basically with the rest of four combination guys on the Knicks you would pick on the court. He doesn't need the ball to score because he doesn't like to score even. You can basically say he plays defense. He doesn't need the ball on the court on the offensive end, and that's the most important thing because we run the play through Julius, some ISO, whatever. So he's the best Knicks filling player out there. If you don't have anyone you could mix and match, you just put in Frank there. Right. He doesn't want, and he's going to be happy he's on the court. So that's the thing. But, as far as Elfrid coming back, I think if it's going to be a really short break, like, he might be back, like maybe skip the Indiana game and then he's going to be back. I think he might even jump back into the starting lineup. But if it's going to be like a 6, 7 to 10 game, break, well, I don't know if Tibbs is going to give him back the starting role like from day one. Okay, you're 100%. We're just going to sit the rest of the D-Rose and whatever on the bench because you're back. I think he isn't that kind of that much of a better player with the starting unit than D-Rose. And, I think he doesn't have that cachet even, just to be that kind of, he doesn't have the star presence or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he's an easy target to keep on the bench even when he's healthy. So, he might be upset a little bit because, he played the first half of the season basically as a starter. And after one injury, he's going to get benched. But, this is reality. If this lineup is going to work as well as with him, they always say if you're winning, you don't change the lineups, right? So,
right, exactly, and that's the thing. If this is going to be an extended break, then he's probably going to be done in that lineup. If this is going to be an extended break, I think you're right. If it goes, 2-3 games, you might see him back out there. And you might not, if Thibodeau just likes what he sees, you might not see him back out there in that lineup. And then the question comes down to the second lineup, right?
Just to also add a thing, I don't think Frank is the player that's going to take minutes off Alfred. I don't think he's going to be used as the point guard. I think he's going to be used as the 2, as we saw him in this game, as the 3. He's just going to be, a plug-in. Like we said, he's basically great. Use it at the 2, at the 3. I don't know about the 4, maybe in small ball. But I think he's just a plug that you can use in those 3 positions basically.
Okay. And I just seen in the YouTube chat someone say, and I'm gonna say out your name if I can find what you just posted. He said, Tibbs has already said that Frank is situational. This is exactly a situation, right? This is situational. Somebody's hurt. We need you in this situation. We put you in so that you can play. But how does a player move? I mean, isn't this how a player moves from being situational to a rotational player, though? Like, somebody gets hurt. Now we have a situation. We need you to come in and contribute. You come in and you contribute. Oh, wait a minute. This looks better. Maybe we're going to go with this. Is there a chance at all that he moves from being situational to a rotation player?
Well, for me, he basically deserves at this point, Kevin Knox's minutes because, Kevin Knox didn't make shots in like 2-3 games. So you can use him, as that kind of plug-in player and see, because he's going to at least bring defense as far as I see it. Right. You're not going to ask him to score like 10, 12, 15 points, but if he has a 7-point game like this one, a quiet, easy 7. He didn't, take 9, 10 shots for it. So his efficiency wasn't that bad. And he brought the defense. Even though the defense didn't show in the box score that much, but he was closing down those passing lanes, which led to bad passes. And, other Knicks teammates, getting those steals and deflections and, just corralling that offense that the Kings were trying to do. And we saw it even in the first half when De'Aaron Fox was passing to Buddy Hield twice. He passed, just out of bounds because Hield didn't cut.
Right. Now, look, there's of course rumors out there that the Los Angeles Clippers are looking for a veteran point guard. I'm sure there's other teams that are going to be looking for a veteran point guard. Any chance that you think Elfrid Payton? Any chance that you think Elfrid Payton, gets moved if Thibodeau likes Frank? I tend to think that when he comes back, if he's not the starter, I agree with you, Andy. He's probably just going to take Frank Ntilikina's starting spot. Just going to, put Ntilikina back on the bench, right? But if they like what they see, maybe there's a chance that They say, hey, you know what? We'll do you right. We'll send you to a place like L.A. If L.A. has interest in Elfrid Payton, opens up room for Frank to play, and then they go from there. I don't know. What do you think? Then I'm going to get down. Andy, I'll let you answer that, then I'll get down to Zach.
Yeah, okay. As far as I see it, I think we are really too thin, even at this point in the guard situation, to make a trade that, to trade our starting point guard for the first half of the season. I think, you just keep it. He's not that kind of big of a contract. You're not going to pay the luxury tax because keeping him and stuff like that. And he's a great player as an insurance policy, even if he doesn't want to get traded and you want to stick with him. He knows the plays. He knows that he has the chemistry with these guys already. And I don't think the comeback from a trading Elfrid Payton is going to be that good to, that is going to be worth the trading him at this point. I think losing him, and imagine, D-Rose goes down for a week or two, and you're going to have Quickly and Frank at the point guard position. That's going to be a disaster. Because I don't think they can handle two young guys that can handle, a team aspiring to get, up in the rankings, even to the 5th, 6th spot in the East, in a tight East at this point.
Yeah. So, and then of course, what happens if Derrick Rose goes out with injury, right? Now what do you do?
No matter if it's Derrick Rose, if it's even another guy, right? So
right, exactly.
That would be bad, and I don't think the comeback is going to be that worth it even. Because if we would have like 2 first-round picks for Elfrid Payton, just ship him. But I don't think we're going to get a first one even. So
right, and I think Austin Rivers is on his way out. Right, you notice he didn't even play last night. It was a blowout. He didn't even get in the game. So I think Austin Rivers is on the way out, which means you got to keep Elfrid Payton. You got to.
Yeah.
You got to, because Derrick Rose has injury issues, right? Every year he misses games due to injury. You know what I mean? And if you move on from Elfrid Payton, and then Derrick Rose goes down, for a week or two, and this is a tight playoff race, now what do you do? Okay, you could start quickly, can quickly handle it in that type of situation. It's unproven, right? We don't know. I don't think Tom Thibodeau wants to go with anything that's unproven. But then you're dealing with Quickly and Frank. If Austin Rivers is indeed traded, if Derrick Rose goes down, and then you got to call up maybe Jared Harper or something like that. And that's probably not what he wants to do when you talk about having a tight playoff race. You want experienced guards out there. Although Elfrid Payton's never been in a tight playoff race or been in the playoffs, he still has experience playing in the NBA. You know what I mean? So I don't think Elfrid Payton goes anywhere. Of course, I asked that question just to spar up talk. I don't think Elfrid Payton goes anywhere. If he's starting or coming off the bench, I don't think he goes anywhere, because I think he's a guy, like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, that the Knicks need right now. Austin Rivers, I think he's done. Elfrid Payton, he's been contributing all season long. Tom Thibodeau likes him. And Derrick Rose is not a lock to stay healthy. You know what I mean? So to me, it would be
neither
foolish.
Is Frank.
And neither is Frank. To me, it would be foolish. It'd be foolish to move on from Elfrid Payton. Zach?
I agree. Elfrid Payton, whatever his shortcomings may be as a player, we're in the 6th seed in the East, and we're 16 and 17, and all of us would have taken that to the bank, at the start of the season. So he's played better. He's not the best shooter, obviously, but he's to this point, and I only say this because Frank hasn't played much, but he's been our best defensive point guard, this season. So Tibbs' biggest thing is defense. He likes him. I could see Rose keeping the starting job if he can show he can be a consistent number 2 to Julius, because we need a consistent number 2 option behind Julius.
Mm-hmm.
But I still see Elfrid Payton getting big minutes on this team regardless. And Frank, all these good things everybody loves to say about Frank Ntilikina, he does the right thing, this, that, and the third. He has all the characteristics of what Tom Thibodeau would want, but there's still a reason he's not playing and getting minutes. And it's not just because he was hurt. There's something between the ears with that kid. or in his chest that Tibbs doesn't like. And if Tibbs doesn't like you, like it has a feeling, he's not going to trust you at all to put you out there in big situations.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He's going to have a chance.
And also,
go ahead, Zach.
Also, Elfrid Payton has a no trade. We forget that Elfrid has a no trade clause. So,
right.
I mean, it's not just going to be so easy to move him, even if you want to.
Right. And I mean, listen, I think, if you put him in the right situation, I don't think he would turn it down, right? If you say, hey, we're going to send you to LA, to the Clippers or the Lakers, I think he'd be like, okay, all right, cool.
At the same time, though, he might want to stay on this team as a contract year for him, right? So he's getting starter minutes. He's been a starter. Let's say we end up, everything goes well, and we're the 6th seed, possibly the 5th seed, like a solid playoff team. And let's say we shock someone in the first round at the 5th seed, and he takes that to the negotiation. He might want to stay and ride that wave and bet on himself. At the end of the year, be like, look, I was a starter for the Knicks. We had a great year. I proved I can be a starter. You got to pay me like one. He might not want to take a back seat and be a bench player again. He might want to try to go after that bag. Who knows?
I mean, hey, you never know. If he's going to have to do that, if he's going to try to go after that money, it's going to be in the off season when he improves his jump shot. Tell him to improve his jump shot first, then talk about going after the money, because that's something he's got to do.
Right.
Chop, let me get to Chop, then I'm gonna get to Uncle Fulio on his way to who knows where. But Chop, what's going on, man? What's your take?
My take is everybody else's take. I'm here to just listen and support. And listen, Uncle Fulio, I think Kevin Cornerstone Kev was looking for you yesterday when Frank Ntilikina. I want to hear his laugh. I'm so sorry. I can hear it in my mind. We got to sample his laugh. We got to get his laugh on sample.
I'm not sampling that. Sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it, Chop. I can't do it. I hear it enough. I hear it enough. I hear it enough when we're on the show. I'm not sampling that laugh. It's not happening.
All right. Yo, Josh, I think he was looking for you, so I'm going to just pass it to him. Remember the game we used to play? You can't when you jump in the air, you can't go back on the floor with your feet. You gotta pass the ball around in a circle. Not playing ball. I'm gonna pass it to Josh. Go ahead.
Big Josh, what's going on, man?
Salute, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Up, Josh.
You would sound better with some headphones in, but we can hear you.
I'm just getting off. I should be home in like 10 minutes, but I just want to say I was just as surprised as everybody else that Tom Thibodeau put Frank out there. I thought there was no chance in the hell that Frank Ntilikina was going to get on the court last night, and Tom Thibodeau put him out there. So what can I say? I do want to make a comment about last night's game, though. I'm all happy that the Knicks won the game. We scored 140 points, but there's no chance that the Knicks are going to do that on a consistent basis. Not with this roster. I'm upset with the level of defense that we played. 120 points is way too many points, and I think that's not the way the Knicks want to win games. They want to win games by playing defense, stopping teams, keeping teams out of the paint, and forcing them to take long jump shots. And yesterday, we just gave up too many points, against the Sacramento Kings. I'm happy that we scored 140, but that's not going to happen with this roster.
No, I definitely agree with you there. I don't think, we're not going to stop teams. We're not going to win games by giving up 121 points. So, that's something I'm pretty sure Tom Thibodeau has addressed the team on that issue. I'm pretty sure he's addressed the team, because you're just not going to win giving up 100 and whatever points that they gave up last night, 121 points. You know what I mean? Now, I know the Sacramento Kings are they're a good offense, a good team, but there was some holes that I didn't like last night.
Sam, look, listen, they put Frank Ntilikina on the floor, and the Knicks were so terrible on defense. Frank, as an individual player, I guess, got some steals or whatever, but the Knicks as a team was so terrible. That second unit is still not good on defense. So, I mean, Frank, really didn't really help us, in my opinion, to be honest. And as far as Elfrid Payton is concerned, look, Elfrid Payton and Derrick Rose, to me, give you the same amount of production. I really don't see anything that much different between jump shot, but he's not really consistent with that either. You know, so until the Knicks improve the roster and bring in someone that can be a bona fide second guy or the number one guy and make Julius Randle the second guy, I think the Knicks are gonna have problems moving forward. But I'm happy we won the game.
Okay, I mean, now I kind of disagree with you there because I think that Derrick Rose did a better job of finding people. Now we'll see if that was because of the defense, you know, being so putrid. But I thought he did a better finding job of finding people in open space, finding Julius Randle for easier shots. I thought he did a better job than Elfrid. But that was last night. We'll see what happens when we play against a tougher defense. Let me get to a phone call here. All right, caller, you live. What's popping?
Sam, what's going on, man?
What's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
It's pretty well. I'm doing all right. I just want to talk quickly about the defense and your point that you made. I was not happy with the Magic defense. The Warriors game, I understand we defended in the fourth quarter, Sim, but it was in spurts. I was not happy after that game. People were talking about we played good enough defense to win. I mean, you could say that in stretches in the fourth quarter. I understand we held them, but two of the quarters we gave up like 35-plus points to Mr. Curry. I did not like our defense. We took – in that Warriors game, Sim, the third quarter we didn't come out. They got on an 8-0 run. The first quarter we didn't come out to play. And I think Tibbs has now got their attention. This is not – if this is the trend, we are not making the playoffs. We got to get back to playing defense. That's first and foremost. So I need Frank in there. Second thing, I want to just say this about R.J. Barrett. Sim, I liked that game last night from R.J. Mm-hmm. He was under control. For the first time, Sim, I've been very critical. I saw an R.J. learn and be patient, not rush once he got in the paint, Sim. He made the right extra pass. He didn't need to force. He didn't need to throw up garbage. He just needed to play his game. Be under control. You're a bad man. Finish around the rim, but if you don't have it, hit the other guy. I mean, he had a beautiful pass to Noel. He had another pass that those are the key things where he's not trying to go 1-on-4. I don't know what your thoughts were of RJ last night, but I would love to hear that. But great show.
Yeah, I thought RJ played well last night. I mean, I wasn't overly impressed with RJ last night, but I thought he played well. He took the shots that were, given to him, and he knocked them down efficiently. I will say, I don't know if, here, let me say this. I agree with you, about him. He didn't force himself into spaces where he's not going to be successful like we've seen him do over a couple of games. I don't know if he had the opportunity at all to do that last night either. You get what I'm saying? Like, we didn't see him on a fast break with three people or on a fast break with, right, to know if he would have done that or not.
Do you think Rose makes him more comfortable, maybe?
Maybe. Maybe the way that Rose plays, he's more, maybe he recognizes it better. If you understand what I'm saying, maybe it's something that he's a little bit more used to from a guard. I don't know. Even when he was with Duke, he was the primary ball handler or one of the primary ball handlers. But maybe he just feels like, maybe the continuity between him and Rose is a little better, because you did see Rose find him, sitting out there wide open for 3-point buckets a couple of times, and then he knocked it down. Mm-hmm. The one thing I'll say about Rose over Peyton, too, is that his passes are more accurate.
Right.
Right, which means a lot to a shooter. It means a whole lot to a shooter, because, if you got to reach just a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left to catch the ball, now you got to get back. You got to get back in form, you got to get back in rhythm and go up. Where when you got your hands already in the spot and that ball lands right there, you can just go up already in rhythm. And I think Derrick Rose is able to pass the ball.
He hit him a couple times.
Yeah, he hit him a couple times in rhythm, in the pocket. You know what I mean? So he could just go up and release it. Now, we'll see if that continues, but, maybe he does feel a little bit more comfortable with Derrick Rose.
I get accused, Sam, of treating Quickly and RJ differently. And my whole point is, when Quickly struggles and has a few bad games, I'm not really worried about it because even when he misses, it looks beautiful. And I just don't think it's not a comp. Yeah, was he hesitant a couple times with Rose on the court? Maybe. That's fair. And I do think he plays better when he can just be the dude with Frank playing defense. But Quickly is a confidence player. If he misses shots, I sleep well at night. RJ, it's about IQ on the court. RJ has the talent. I mean, the shot will need work, but with RJ, I just didn't think when he was struggling, Sim, the IQ on the court was not where I needed it. Last night, for the first time, I thought he was under control and understood what I needed.
Okay. All right. Hey, hopefully, let me say this too, and I don't know, I didn't see it last night or pay attention to it either, but Derrick Rose does a lot of talking to his teammates on the floor. Right? Just kind of telling you, hey, be here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'll get you this way or that way. Elfrid Payton does a lot of talking to himself on the floor, but not really a lot of talking to his teammates about strategizing and right. Where I want you to be and, where do you want to be and stuff like that. And maybe that, plays a role, especially with RJ being so young. He doesn't have to be one of the leaders, right? Derrick Rose can be the floor general a little bit, and he can play off a role.
I think so. I think anything we can do to take the pressure off RJ and just let I don't want him thinking. Obviously, he needs to think. I mean, it's important that he thinks and makes the right plays, but just let your talent come out. And like you're saying, Sim, if it's getting him the passes in the pocket, if it's the little things that Rose can do for the kid to get him under control, I think Knicks fans are going to be a lot happier with RJ. And I think RJ is going to – the shot worries me, but if I can just get a more consistent dude a little bit more, I think we'll all be happier.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see how it looks. Hey, I appreciate the call, bro.
Peace.
Appreciate the call. Yeah. A lot of things to think about, a lot of things to talk about. Let me get to another phone call here. Caller, you live. What's popping? Hello? You live, my man.
Hello, Sim.
Yeah, what's going on with you, bro? How you feeling?
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Sim, I'm frustrated with this conversation, man.
Uh-oh. Why is that?
Sim, we're New York fans. We know basketball, man. Stats don't dictate how good you are on the court. We've seen Boston without Marcus Smart. Elfrid Payton is not good.
So
Payton is good. Let me finish. Payton is good with the ball in his hands. He doesn't space the floor. There's no floor balance. He's not a good point guard.
Let me ask you, what stats did we throw out to say that anyone dictated anything? Because we were just talking about how Derrick Rose talks to his players. We were talking about how, he's finding, his passes are accurate. So maybe that's why it helped.
I'm just talking on the premise that he has value to the Knicks. Payton is the reason why RJ Barrett is going 1 for 9.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I got to disagree with you, bro. RJ Barrett gets wide open shots and he misses them. Wide open shots from the perimeter. And this is not anything. Hold on. This is not anything to say Elfrid Payton is the man. I cannot blame RJ Barrett going 1 for 9 from the field. When he gets wide, he gets layups and he misses them. He tried, he's been lately trying to, on a fast break, Elfrid Payton nowhere's near him. On a fast break, go through 3 or 4 people and miss a shot. I mean, come on.
Easy buckets. RJ Barrett is a slasher more than anything. You need shooters around him. Let's get back to Frank.
So what about nights? Frank? What about nights when he scores 26 or 25 or 21 and Elfrid Payton is still on the floor with him?
But Sim, early on in the season, teams weren't really trapping RJ Barrett. In the last 5 to 10 games, all teams seem to be trapping him. You can do that because Mitchell Robinson's not in the court, so you can't have the vertical spacing, and you have Payton on the weak side who's providing no spacing. You're playing 3 versus 5.
Bro, I just disagree. I mean, before last night's game, the game before that, he didn't play well against Golden State. He didn't shoot well. The game before that, he had 26 points. I mean, RJ Barrett is up and down because he's a young player, man. And with Derrick Rose in the lineup, it's going to be the same way. He's going to be up and down because he's a young player.
I guarantee you, if RJ was in a Miami offense or in a New Jersey offense, he would average 20 points a game. And Frank, no matter what you say about Frank, it's not about stats. His plus minus has always been one of the best on the team.
Plus minus doesn't mean anything, man.
On the team. Josh said.
Hey, let me stop. Let me say one thing. Let me say one thing about this plus minus. Right. I just want to show you why I really don't hold plus minus to anything. So you say Frank is a plus when he's on the floor, right? And listen,
majority of the time, I'm talking in the previous years.
I mean, but what I'm saying is, you could be Frank Ntilikina could get into a game at the end of the first quarter, right? Have no bearing on the game at all. And the Knicks go on a 6-point run because Julius Randle hit 2 threes in a row. Frank Ntilikina is a +6. You know what I'm saying? Or you could have Frank Ntilikina come in the second quarter, play great, do everything that you ask him to do, score 6 points, get 2 steals. Right? And at the end of that quarter, while he's still in the game, let's say, Julius Randle turns the ball over 3 times, and the other team comes down and hits 3 threes, and all of a sudden they go up 6 points, they go up 9 points, and Frank Ntilikina has a negative plus minus. You understand what I'm saying? To me, the plus minus really doesn't mean much, man.
All right. So would you do you believe he creates an impact on the floor when he's on the floor?
I believe he can create an impact on the floor.
Not as the primary ball handler.
I believe that he can have an impact on the floor. You know, as a defender and as someone who can, as long as he can continue to hit the 3, as someone who can, hopefully
last thing before
be
I get
a 3-and-D guy.
Josh said the Knicks defense wasn't good. And Frank, something about Frank didn't have an impact. Frank played about 20 minutes and he had 3 steals and a charge. He drew a charge. So that doesn't show his impact defensively, but that means he created 4 turnovers in 20 minutes. And that's not impactful. I don't know if he's trying to live up to the name Uncle Fulio, but this is so frustrating, man. I promise.
Yo, that's a good one. That's a good one. I wish I thought of that one. I wish I thought of that. That's a good one.
Frank is gonna go to a team and he's gonna just play his position. I see him as a Marcus Smart player. He's better than Elfrid Payton. Elfrid Payton is good on a team that has a stretch center, and he could just get to the bucket and finish. He's already a defender. He's not even close to Frank defensively. And I think that's the reason the coach trusts him so much, because of his defense. But anyways, I appreciate you, man.
I think
I'm a big fan.
I also think he trusts Elfrid Payton because he's kind of gritty. Right, he gets out there and battles. He's not a perfect player by any means, but he gets out there and battles, and it's something that this team needs. So, hey, I appreciate the call, man.
When we put shooters on RJ, he's going to be 25 and 5. All right, fellas.
Okay, all right. We'll see. I tend to think that RJ, it's on him to make shots when they're open, wide open, with nobody around him. He's got to make those shots, regardless of who's on the floor. But Fulio, he said you're trying to live up to your name, man. What's up?
First of all, that joke was whack. That's number one.
Obviously.
Again, when Frank Ntilikina came on the floor, the Knicks were trading bucket for bucket with Sacramento. The Knicks didn't get better on defense when Frank came on the floor. And as an individual, he had a really good defensive game, but the Knicks played team defense. That's why they're number 1, number 2, and number 3 ranked defense in the league. It's because of team. It's not because of individual defensive stats. Mitchell Robinson's block numbers went down. The Knicks are a better defensive team. So it has nothing to do with Frank as an individual. I'm talking about as a team. The Knicks defense was atrocious last night, and I'm just calling it like I see it.
But you've got to have individuals that play defense in order for your team defense to be good, right? And I mean, he did some things. I mean, he did some things last night that he did some good things last night that add to the team defense, right? I mean, you seen the one play where he was playing up tight on Buddy Hield, And because he was playing tight on Buddy Hield couldn't cut to where De'Aaron Fox wanted him to cut. De'Aaron Fox threw the ball to a certain spot. Buddy Hield wasn't there, went out of bounds. You see Frank Ntilikina take an offensive charge. And I'm not saying he's the only player to do that. But those are team defense type of things. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he played good defense. One thing that Frank Ntilikina does, in my opinion, that the team does not do well, and I wish the team would do well, is
deflections.
Get deflections. Thank you, Andy. Get deflections. Right? We don't get deflections. You know what I'm saying? And I think Frank Ntilikina does a good job getting his hands in there. Boom, boom, boom. And Leeds and the Knicks, I didn't say his defense was all world. I said he played good defense, and he did do something. I mean, come on. I mean, and Josh, I'm not saying that you didn't say he wasn't playing good defense. If anyone could sit there and say that Frank wasn't playing good defense last night, poo on you, man. Come on. He was playing good defense last night. Did he get scored on a couple times? Of course. People are going to get scored on, but he played good defense last night. I mean, what is wrong with saying, I'm not talking about you, Josh, but what is wrong with saying that Frank Ntilikina played good defense last night? There's nothing wrong with saying the kid played good defense. Let me get to another phone call. Caller, you live. What's poppin'?
Yo, shit, what it do?
What's going on with you, man? Who am I talking to?
My name is Alex. Shout out from Central Florida.
Okay. Oh, down there in the nice weather.
Oh, you already know, bro. We chilling over here. But I just want to first off, shout out to the MBK family, the panel, the chat, so on and so forth.
That.
But, of course. So, reflection on the game, on yesterday's game, I just want to say I was listening a little bit last night to you guys talking, and I think that we should, as Knicks fans, should be showing our pearly whites a little more, because according to, I believe it was you said we were supposed to beat the Kings, and we did that handily. So shout out to the Knicks for taking care of business when they had to. Once again, as far as Frank Ntilikina, I think the kid looked great. I don't want to jump the gun too early. I mean, it's one game, but I feel like offense and quickly being on ball, it just flowed so much smoother than lately with Rose and quickly. So I appreciate what you guys have been saying, but I just want to see some more pearly whites in the show. Can we do that?
Hey, man,
Yeah, facts.
People just want to, listen, I think we're all happy about what the Knicks are doing. So I get you. I ain't even gonna try to come back with you. I get you. You're right. We do need to be a little bit more happier. We do. We need to be a little bit more happy about what this team is doing. It's just hard because we want to make sure that they keep doing it. You know what I mean?
I get it. And that's us as, Knicks fans. We're very passionate. I totally get it. But I'm saying, just if we're successful, just soak it in a little bit. It's okay to kick back and just enjoy the game as a fan. You know what I mean?
It's tough, man. I get it. You're right. It's tough because that playoff race is so tight, and it's nice to be able to even talk about the playoffs and the Knicks, but that playoff race is so tight. One win can send you down to 10th seed, and, or one loss can take you down to the 10th seed. But hey,
I hear you.
You're right, though. You're right. I'm with you. You are right. No doubt about it. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the call.
Definitely. Thank you for taking my call. You have a wonderful day.
Yeah, enjoy the weather down there, too. Don't rub it in our faces too much because it's cold up here. Later. All right. Anyway, man, the Knicks won last night, 140 points. We'll see what happens. I think that Elfrid Payton is still going to be out. He'll be out for a couple of days, so we'll get a chance to see what this lineup can do. Going forward for a couple of games and get a better barometer of what these guys are. Let's talk about Obi Toppin, man. Obi Toppin is in the slam dunk contest. I think we all expected him to be in the slam dunk contest, right? I'm happy for him. Now, I did think that him and Dennis Smith Jr. were probably working on some things for the slam dunk contest, right? You seen them, doing some things where they were, just in shoot arounds and stuff like that, trying to, work on this kind of dunk or that kind of dunk. I guess you could still see it if they worked on something together. I guess you could still see it. There's no reason why he can't pull Dennis Smith Jr. and say, "Hey, let's do this dunk and whatnot." But I don't know who else is in the slam dunk contest. Haven't seen anything else announced. I just know Shams tweeted out that Obi Toppin is going to be in the dunk contest. Andy, is Obi going to win it?
We don't know what's going to be the competition, and I'm actually curious what's going to be the format this year, because they said that they're going to do it in the halftime of the All-Star game.
Yeah,
bro, that they're going to get like one chance. They're going back to the old school rules when you get one chance to get the dunk, because if not, I don't see them making like what each player is going to do like 2 dunks. That's 8 dunks plus the finals. So it has to be like that. 1 or 2 chances for a dunk, and that's all. And I was when you said they might do something together, maybe Dennis Smith is going to enter the dunk contest.
Right, he might now. He might enter it now. I don't know. Yeah, he could. That'd be interesting. And then he could still use him to help him out. And then Dennis Smith Jr. probably mess up the pass or something like that. Who knows? Nah, I don't know if he would do that. I don't know if he would do that. But, it is going to be a little bit different, right? Because they're playing at halftime of the All-Star game. Normally the slam dunk contest lasts for about an hour. Now, halftime, I guess halftime, if they have performances and stuff like that, usually lasts for about a half an hour, right? Because they usually have some big performance at halftime and stuff like that. So to cut down on the number of people there, maybe they won't have a halftime performance, and it'll just be the slam dunk contest. So you can put in about a half an hour. So if it's about a half an hour, it's going to change the format of the slam dunk contest. And I haven't seen anything out yet to say, what the format is going to be. But definitely interested to see what that's going to be like. But I'm glad he's there. Listen, for the first time since forever, we got a guy in the All-Star game. Now we got a guy who is in the slam dunk contest. And if they were having a rookie-sophomore game, Emmanuel Quickley would have been in the rookie-sophomore game.
Oh,
and
definitely.
And RJ.
And RJ, exactly. Emmanuel Quickley and RJ would have been in the rookie-sophomore game. They would have been playing against each other because RJ would have been with the world team, with Team
USA,
World, and Quickley would have been with Team USA. You know what I'm saying? So that would have been cool. If they were having it, but here's my thing: why not have it anyway? I mean, it's already done now. But if they're doing it all in one day, they could have made it one long day, I guess. Right? They're starting coverage at around 5:00. They could have had the rookie sophomore game early, and then, it is what it is now. But it would have been nice to have 4 guys represented at All-Star Weekend. That would have been pretty cool.
Maybe plug in someone in the 3-point shooting contest.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
plug somebody in.
He got a good chance of winning that, though. I think he got a good chance of winning because you know why? Kenny Smith and all the guys, they like power dunkers.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who can get that rim a good rattle. And he can get up too. So with his hop and his power dunking, I think the judges going to be pretty shocked if Obi give you some style in it and he rattled that rim a couple of times. They're going to be like, because Obi Toppin could get up. Well, even in the game, I'm like, damn, this dude can get up.
Obi,
and he's thunder dunker. Yeah, that
Obi,
kid. So
Obi.
I can see Kenny Smith like, let's go home, ladies and gentlemen. They need to put, check it out. They need to put Mitchell Robinson in there with him. Let Mitchell Robinson do a Statue of Liberty. This is to represent New York, and let Obi fly his head and grab that ball like John Wall did, my man, when he did that. Remember when John Wall did that dunk in the All-Star game when and I guess he did that dance, what they call it back in the day, when he picked it up and cuffed it 2 times to throw it backwards. John Wall did it. But if Obi can get over one-out ball players like that and put that shit down, it'll be over, man. I'm telling you. I'm excited about that. So I hope he gonna make it happen, though.
That's the one thing, right? Because Obi can get up so high. Now, can he? What kind of dunks does he have? We'll see, right? He can windmill it. He can go under the leg and throw it down. He'll probably have, some Dominique Wilkins, backwards dunks or whatever. We'll see what he has. He's definitely athletic enough, and he can get up in the air. You know what I mean? So we'll see what kind of creativity he has.
He definitely got a 360 in him. I think that's coming.
Oh yeah. That's easy for him. That's got to be easy for him. That 360. Right. He might be able to do. I'm not gonna say 720, but whatever is in between 360 and 720. I don't know. What is it? I don't know.
540. Yeah. 540.
Maybe he can come out there and do a 540 joint or something like that. You never know, because that man can get up. His leaping ability is next to none.
My question: Who would you like to see versus Obi in that dunk contest? Zion, Edwards.
Wow.
Ja Morant.
Zion would be dope. I don't know if they want Zion to be in it because he's one, he's in the All-Star game. 2, they don't want to take a chance of anything with Zion. What about the dude from Portland? What about the dude from Portland? Derek Jones.
Derek Jones Jr. Right?
Derek Jones. Yeah.
He's been in it before, right? I'd like to see him in it.
Anthony Edwards.
Ja Morant. I'd like to see Ja Morant in it. I don't know if Ja Morant, would be in it, but I'd like to see Ja Morant in there. You know what I'm saying? That'd be fun. Because I like to see the little guys. I like to see the little guys get up and do some things. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see Ja Morant in it. But Zion versus Obi would definitely be who? Nate? Zion versus Obi would definitely be, if they made it to the championship, it would definitely be, they got good names, and Zion, Obi, they both can get up, power dunkers. It would be fun, and it would definitely catch the attention of everybody. Somebody said Aaron Gordon. King J said Aaron Gordon. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but he's kind of old. I want to see the young guys do it, kind of. I don't know how old Derek Jones is, though. Maybe he's a little bit older, too. It's going to be fun. Miles Bridges is a dunker. Yeah, he's a power dunker, too. He's a dunker. So, yeah, it should be interesting, man, to see.
Exciting. Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
It's going to be fun. And I didn't mean to bring that up. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to change that really, really quick and bring it back to what we were talking about. There we go. Sorry about that. I brought up a graphic, an old graphic that I didn't mean to bring up. But Obi Toppin, man. Obi Toppin is going to be in the slam dunk contest, so that should be exciting. The Knicks got a lot of people representing for 2 people representing for All-Star Weekend, and possibly could have been 4. If they were having the rookie-sophomore game. Speaking of rookies, Emmanuel Quickley is once again mentioning that he's on the NBA rookie ladder. Right now, the top 5 guys on a rookie ladder is LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tate, and Emmanuel Quickley. All those guys are.
No Sadiq.
I think he was like, one of the next guys up. You know what I'm saying? But not in the top 5. That's the NBA rookie ladder.
Have you seen how Charles Barkley was giving props to Quickley last night?
I didn't see it. I heard he couldn't pronounce. I heard Shaq. I just seen the thing where Shaq didn't know his name, but I didn't see what Charles Barkley said to Quickley. What did he say?
Yeah, Shaq was just trying to be funny. He was doing his little Shaq skit, Shaq and the Fool, whatever. But basically, Charles Barkley, they were pretty much giving the Knicks some props. And Charles Barkley said Emmanuel Quickley is the second best rookie in the league behind LaMelo Ball, which that was huge because Barkley's been criticizing us for years. Like, I can go back, and all the time, every time a Knick game came on, he was talking about how bad how bad Knicks fans feel because nobody wants to go to the games and nobody likes the Knicks. And last night was just very different. So it felt kind of good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. That's hey, Charles Barkley, I get it. Knucklehead. He's still a knucklehead, but he's right though. I can't deny he's right. Emmanuel Quickly, he might be the second best rookie out of all the rookies. And we'll see what his future holds as he grows to become an NBA player, man. But yeah, hey, he's one of the top 5 rookies in the NBA, at least, based on the NBA rookie ladder. So, we'll take that and see where he goes from there. Maybe he ends up being the number 1 guy one of these days. I don't know. What are his chances of winning Rookie of the Year?
And on the second half of the season, if the Knicks ball out in the second half, and I think he's gonna have a better second half than the first because he probably kind of comfortable now. How the guy playing the NBA. The second time around always better than the first time. Sometimes, so most of the time anyway. I think now he done played that first half of the season. He know what he up against. He know how these big guys go at him and all that. I think quickly the Knicks have a good second half of the season. I think quickly going to be definitely him and LaMelo Ball and Halliburton probably. Because I don't even hear the Wiseman talk that much no more, so I don't know. But I think quickly got a good shot, man. That boy, he can play some ball. He got confidence, man. His confidence is amazing. So you never know.
I think right now, if I had to pick one, I would choose LaMelo, just because LaMelo's now in the starting lineup. And Charlotte is doing a lot better with LaMelo running that show down there, or at least down here. That's where I'm at. But I do think quickly does have a good shot to win. It just depends on how much minutes he gets, and then if Thibodeau decides to put him in the starting lineup at some point. But I think the favorite right now is LaMelo. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely the favorite, and he's the favorite, and also he's the most popular player. I don't even know who votes on Rookie of the Year. I guess it's the media that votes on Rookie of the Year, right? So he's one of the most popular players in the NBA already. So a lot of that is going to play into it. But, I think IQ has a chance, man. The Knicks make the playoffs, and he's, I don't know what his scoring average is right now. What is he, about 13 points a game? He continues to play and get more minutes, and maybe he's able to get, if he gets consistent, somehow finds a way to get consistent, doesn't have these 5-point nights, which you expect it from him. It's cool. But, if he can stay around, okay, I'm getting 13, then he explodes and has 30, 13, 14, 16, then he explodes and have 30, right? And all of a sudden he's up where he's averaging 14, 15 points a game. He's a super sub and really helping to, push the Knicks into the playoffs. He'll have a chance, but hey, it's just nice to have a guy mentioned in his name. It was supposed to be Obi. I ain't even gonna go there, but I ain't even gonna jump into that. Right? But hey, we got one anyway. Other things.
I just want to highlight one thing. I'm sorry, real quick. I just want to highlight something because this is very, very important. Emmanuel quickly goes to show people out there that want the Knicks to tank and I want the Mavericks to tank that you can still draft a high caliber guy in the later rounds or the later part of the draft. You don't necessarily have to choose a lottery pick. It doesn't have to be top 5. It doesn't have to be top 3. The Knicks have proven over the last couple of years that they can draft late in the first round. Okay. And look, we got Emmanuel Quickly now. Emmanuel Quickly is going to talk for Rookie of the Year. So people should wake up and realize that it doesn't have to be all about the lottery. As long as we have a pick, then we're in good shape.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm definitely with you there. I hear you on that one. We'll see what happens when it comes to the draft. I'm not even looking at the draft. That's not even on my mind. I'm just focused on, what's happening in this playoff race right now because
playoffs. That's
playoffs, man.
Right.
The playoffs. And I know people don't want to think about it, but we are in the middle of a playoff race right now, ladies and gentlemen, for all of the teams in the Eastern Conference. We're in the playoff race now. And you may say it's early, but it's not early because when you look at the standings, it's just too close. Too close. right? So tonight, the Knicks right now, as we speak, the Knicks stand 6th in the NBA. I mean, in the Eastern Conference. They're 16-17. They're below Toronto, who are 5th. They're 16-17. The Indiana Pacers are 15-15. All right. Tonight, the Knicks could actually move into that 4th spot tonight if things go their way. The Pacers play the Celtics tonight on ESPN. I'm going to watch this game. The Celtics are 15-17. The Pacers are 15-15. If the Celtics, who are desperate for a win, they've lost 3 in a row, they're not playing well. If they can pull off a win tonight, they drop the Pacers to 15-16. By dropping the Pacers to 15-16, that leaves the door open for another team to move into that 4th spot. The Raptors play the Rockets tonight. I expect the Raptors will probably win, but if they lose, they'll drop to 16-18. The Knicks will still be 16-17. Right? And then the Miami Heat, they play the Jazz tonight. The Jazz are tearing the league up. They're 26-6. They're tearing up the league. Right? There's a chance that Miami can win. I'm putting my money on the Jazz. Not literally. I'm just saying. All right? If the Jazz beat the Heat, they drop to 15-18. Okay? The Bulls play the Suns tonight. The Suns are 20-11. The Bulls are 15-16. Even if the Bulls win, they'll be 16-16. You know, they have a chance of moving up to that 4th spot. You know, so it just shows you like things can move around crazy in this Eastern Conference off of just one win or one loss. You know, there's no separation amongst these teams from the 4th seed, who are the Pacers at 15-15, all the way down to, the Wizards are the 12th seed, and they're just 3 games out of being the 4th seed, right? And they're 12-18, and the Wizards are 7-3 in their last 10 games. You know, so it is, you know, it's a tight race. You're in the middle of that playoff race right now, and you're going to be in the middle of that race all the way into the end of the season. Now, are there teams dropping out? The Pacers, they're 4-6 in their last 10. The Celtics are 3-7 in their last 10. I don't know what's happening in Boston right now. Those are some teams that could be dropping out. I don't know, Devon. What do you think, man? You think we're in the middle of that playoff race, man? How you feel?
Yeah, man, we got to stay in there, bro. I feel good, man. I'm a Knicks fan. Listen, guys, I know we all like to get the good lottery picks. We have not been to the playoffs since 2013. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Y'all cannot sit here and worry. Man, we got to get up in there. For the city of New York and Knicks fans and Knicks country, if the Knicks get to the playoffs and Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin get that experience, next year going to be ridiculous. You know what I mean? Because now they're coming back next year, having played in the playoff, know what it is. Knicks fans in Madison Square Garden finally at a playoff game in 2021. That got to be a sight. It got to be a sight. And I'm a Knicks fan, and I know I'm excited. The Knicks are in a good spot, man. We got a team, barely got people making over $6 million, and we almost in a 4th seed in the conference. Come on. You know what I mean? The coach got them believing in themselves. He got Knicks fans believing. We ain't talking about, hey, man, when are we going to get the 3rd pick? And this early in the season, we talk about playoffs. I'm Allen Iverson in this joint. Playoffs? Come on. We talk about playoffs this time of year. It's exciting, man. I'm amped because just the playoff talk, man. We haven't talked like this for Knicks fans in 7 years, talking about the playoffs. All we've been talking about is, he sucked. Oh, that coach got to go. Nah, we talked about the Knicks got a chance to go in the playoffs, and that's exciting, man. So we just got to keep moving forward. And a lot of teams losing. We just got to keep winning. And I think, and like I said, we like Josh and all us said, we one player away from making some noise in the playoffs. We're going to get there with the team we got right now. I still think we're going to get to the playoffs. But if we get another player, it's going to be on the pop in New York. And really, you know, so we got to do this, man.
With so many teams being in it, extending that play-in to 10 has kept so many teams in it, and it's going to dictate the way that people move at the trade deadline. It really is, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to have teams that say, you know, we're still in this. they might want to try to make a move. That buyout market is going to be, it might be a competitive buyout market. With teams looking to that buyout market to say maybe we can get a guy to help, to help push us along. It definitely makes the NBA more interesting having this play-in tournament. It does, because now so many more teams have a chance. And once you get in there, you never know what's going to happen. Listen, you get to that 8th seed, you're probably not going to win it, but it helps some teams. It'll help some teams to grow, and become better, and creates a little bit more parity across the league. I don't know, what teams do you think, based on the way the playoff race is, even out in the Western Conference, is tight? They have a little bit better record than teams in the Eastern Conference, but out there it's tight. Which teams do you think are going to be buyers and sellers here coming up to the trade deadline? Andy, I'll start with you.
Well, I think it's basically it's still early, because the deadline is on the 25th. So we got like a month without a day till that date. And in these 30 days, plenty of things can happen. And if for example, a Chicago team gets a major injury, they might look to be sellers. Teams that are going to lose and going to go on a losing streak are going to be sellers, because I don't think it's going to be possible for those teams to get back, in the rest of the season. This month is the most important month in the schedule, before the trade deadline. After the trade deadline, the rosters are set. So you got to play it out till the end. And, just to add to what Divine said, I think most important games are within the conferences, because those games count for double. Because if you get a W, you put a loss on the other team, on your opponent that you're playing versus in the standings. So if the Knicks want to lose, just lose to a West Coast team, so you don't put up extra W to the East Coast opponent.
Right.
So that's the really important thing in a close playoff race like this season.
Right.
And with the rest of the teams, it's really hard to say. Those teams that I would think, like I said it several times already, I think Orlando's going to be sellers, because they already a little bit out of the playoff race, and they got major contracts. I mean, they don't have salary cap flexibility in the next season or two. So I think they gotta try to at least be sellers and move at least one or two of their guys. And the rest, I think it's gonna happen closer to the deadline. That's
I think the Clippers, I think the Lakers, both those teams will be buyers. I think the Celtics will be buyers, right? Because I think the Celtics are going to be looking to, they're not playing well. I think they cannot afford to not make the playoffs. They can't afford to not make the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Somebody's job is on the line.
Exactly.
Somebody's job is definitely on the line.
Management's job. That's the easy way, to put them on a hot seat. The management job's good. It gets on the, on the hot seat. That's where moves going to be made.
Right. So I know they've got to be nervous right now. It's no way that the Celtics can miss the playoffs this year. And right now, what are they, in the 10th spot behind us? Or not behind us, but in the 9th spot. They're in the 9th spot right now. They just can't afford. So I think they're going to look to make a play somewhere. I don't know what. Right? I know that they had that trade exception that they can use. They do need a big man. Will they make a play for Andre Drummond? Do they think that, takes them to another level? I don't know. But I don't think they can afford to sit still if they're going to continue to play this way, because they've got to make the playoffs. They got to. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, they got to.
Sim, I'm looking at. Well, first of all, between the 4th spot and the 12th spot, that's separated by 3 games. Yeah. The Pacers at 15-15 and DC at 12-18. And DC's they're hot right now. And I didn't think I would be able to say that because they're so poor on defense. But Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal are balling right now. You know what I mean? So the Wizards are still in it. And as far as to answer your question, I think there's 3 teams I'm looking at in the Eastern Conference that are going to be buyers. I'm looking at Boston, I'm looking at Chicago, and I'm looking at Miami. Do not sleep on Slick Pat Riley. Yeah. Do not sleep on him. He is out there to make a move. And this is why I don't like the fact that the Knicks, or I don't want the Knicks to sit around and stand idle while all these other teams in the Eastern Conference are getting better. This is our competition that we're talking about. And I want to propel the Knicks up into that top 4 spot. Not any one of these other teams. I want the Knicks to be there. So we can't just sit around and be idle. We got to keep making moves to make the team better. Am I saying trade away the farm? Am I saying that? Even though a Knicks fan is going to say, oh, so what are we supposed to do? Give up the farm? No, I'm not saying that. But we definitely need to improve the team, because if we don't do it, Pat Riley down there in Miami is going to do it. Or Danny Ainge up in Boston, he's going to do it. And whoever's running the Chicago Bulls, they're going to do it too.
Let me ask you, why do you say Chicago? Why do you think Chicago's going to be buyers? Like, do you think they're going to be big time buyers, or they're still trying to preserve and build for the future?
I think they want to hold on to Zach LaVine. They're seeing what we see. We want Zach LaVine. I think they're going to want to hold on to Zach LaVine. I don't think they're going to just shop him and put him out there. They want to keep him, and they want to put someone to match up with them. They see how good Zach LaVine is. What is it, 26, 27 points per game? They don't want to give that up. So they're going to shop probably marketing. They're going to put marketing out there, try to see what people want for him. And they're going to try to make a run for the top 4 spot in the Eastern Conference.
And yeah, I mean, they're right there. They can. And as a matter of fact, Zach LaVine is even mentioned. They have some guys that they mentioned in the MVP race. They do about 10 people. And he's not mentioned in that top 10, but like honorable mentions. He's mentioned in the honorable mentions category as a guy who could be, MVP. I think in the Eastern Conference, you're gonna see Brooklyn as a buyer, and maybe even the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are not what they thought they were gonna be, right? They may be buyers as well. Now, let me ask you this: what about, you talked about Washington? They may be buyers, trying to, I heard some things about them possibly having some interest in Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know.
Strapped. I don't know how they'll be able to buy anything.
I don't know
they
how
just paid Davis.
I know.
Yeah, they just paid Davis Bertans, what was it, $80 million contract for 3 years, and he hasn't lived up to the hype. I mean, I guess lately they're winning games now, but I don't see how they can go out and pick up anybody.
I don't know what their salary, their salary cap looks like, but I'm sure there's a way to move players around, find ways to trade players that could be expiring or anything like that to make a move. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It might be tough for them, but I think, I'm not a Wizards fan, so I really don't care that much. But I think it would be dumb for them to make a move for KP. And as much as Mark Cuban says he's not looking to move KP, from what I've read, yeah, they are looking to move KP. One, because of he's injury prone. And then his brother, there's problems with him just being a diva. You know what I'm saying? And teams don't like it.
Tim, I think Chicago, Atlanta, I think they're going to start falling back pretty soon. I think Chicago's a real young team to me. They're young. I mean, they have some young cats, Patrick Williams, Kobe White. They're young, you know what I mean? And they got a good team, but I don't think they're going to sustain what they're doing. I think LaVine can keep getting his numbers, but I don't think they're going to keep winning, though. I think they're going to start like Atlanta, like Cleveland will. I think all them teams going to start falling down. Miami going to come up. You might got Washington might be on the come up. I mean, like especially Miami, they was like I said, they was in the finals last year. They ain't selling themselves short, so they're going to be in the picture. But I think Knicks still get in from eight on up though.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I just want the Knicks to be top 4.
Yeah, you mean you both,
right?
But see, lower echelon team in the first round.
But see, what you said is one of the reasons why Chicago they may kind of feel the same way.
They make a move, right.
They may say, hey, we need to make a move, right? Because they kind of feel that same way. I think out in the Western Conference, you're going to see the Clippers going to be looking to make a move, most likely. The Los Angeles Lakers will probably be looking to make a move. Now, I think there's some question about with San Antonio. They're not a contender, but whether or not they are looking to say, hey, we're just middle of the pack. Both LaMarcus Aldridge and what's his name are going to be free agents next year. They may be. What'd you say? Oh, DeRozan. They may be looking to say, hey, we'll be sellers. It's hard to say. And listen, if they're sellers, I don't know if I'm really interested in DeRozan, although he is having a good year and he does fit a sore need for us. Right? Any interest in DeRozan?
I have a problem with him. DeRozan's the ball, man. He that boy just scored the ball. We need scores. DeRozan gonna give you way more than Reggie Bullock gonna give you. I'll tell you that in the starting lineup.
And you're not lying. He ain't told no lies there.
Sure,
what about you, Andy?
It depends for whom.
Right.
If it's for whom and for how long we're gonna keep him, because if we could do a deal, for example, I don't know, Austin Rivers in a first round pick, right? Just to get DeRozan here, and we could discuss with him some kind of under the table deal that if we don't get anyone in the free agency, we're just gonna sign you for a 1-year deal again. I might try to consider that thing, because if we don't get anyone and we're still gonna have to live with like 50 million or 40 million of the cap space, I'd rather have DeRozan here for a year, just to be again a valuable player in the playoffs, right, as a team. But if we're going to be stuck with that 50 million of cap space and don't add any valuable pieces, just another year of reclamation projects like Hezonja, Burks, Rivers, and whatever, then that's not going to move us ahead. It's going to be another year lost for the young guys, and just plug in players that are going to get contracts next offseason somewhere else, right? So I might consider DeRozan just to be more certain of the playoff position in the season. But DeRozan, if I had a choice, I think I'd find several better players to fit with the Knicks, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, how much does DeRozan make? What's he? $30 million a year?
Yeah, probably around that.
Yeah. See, yeah. I mean, if you try to get DeRozan, you still got that $15 million that that you can use with your cap space. That you haven't used, that you can use, that so take a salary down. So you'd have to give 15. Up some young guys. But then you still gotta. You don't want to give up stuff if you're not going to pay the guy, right? So then you'd have to know that you'd have to say to yourself, he's going to be a guy that we're going to move forward with, and make that decision that you're going to pay him. I don't know. I mean, he is having a good year.
The thing that hurts me with DeRozan is he's not a little 3-point shooter. That a thing that you would want from a shooting guard is that he could also stretch the floor. If we're gonna have a player that's playing the shooting guard position and he's not gonna be able to do it, that's a huge minus for me. At least he doesn't have to be a great one, but he doesn't even look to take him. So that's the kind of thing.
So DeMarcus DeRozan makes makes $27.7 million this year. His contract expires this year. If you absorb $15 million of that, you still got to play $12.7 million. You could make that up with about 2 players that the Knicks have, to make that up. So I guess if you're not giving up anything, I don't know.
My focus wait till the offseason. There's no point to trade for him right now. I mean, I don't think he's that much of a difference maker. I mean, he can score, don't get me wrong, and we do definitely need some scoring, but to me, he just doesn't get it done for me right now, particularly giving up any assets or anybody on the roster to bring DeRozan in for half a season for a rental. I would rather just wait for him in the offseason and go at it that way.
Hey, do you think the Knicks going to sign Alex Burks on guys next year?
If we don't spend money on anyone else,
that's the reason why I say bring DeRozan, because all them cats is aspiring. Even DeRozan is aspiring. If it's just players only and no picks, and eat the rest of that money up for DeRozan for a half a year, To get us in the playoffs and have some comp, I'll do it, yo.
Well, if
San Antonio's not going to just take players. They're going to want picks. That's the thing.
San Antonio can't. They can't dictate too much because he's expiring. They just can't get anything. He's an expiring contract.
I mean, but the thing is, they don't want to take back just expiring contracts too. They at least want a young player that they see as part of their future or a pick. One of the two.
Okay,
one of the two. Right?
I do any one of our young players like Franklin, not Obi and RJ and quickly is off the table, but Knox, Frank, any of them cats. I ain't got no. DeRozan is a legitimate, experienced boy. He can play. He's been there before. We need guys like DeRozan who've been there before, who can put them 19 points up a game. We just need them for this year. We ain't talking about sign next year. Let them walk after this year. I don't care. Let them walk. Shit. But for this year, put them in there. You can walk. I don't care. Put them in there. You get DeRozan in the playoffs with the Knicks this year at that small forward spot with Julius Randle. Man, come on, man. We ain't got nobody out there can shoot.
I'm not going to lie. I think
DeRozan give us. Nobody. It's not one person on the Knicks team to give us what DeRozan give us. Period.
That's true. But nobody. I think DeRozan would fit perfectly with the LA teams.
Yeah, he would. He probably want to go out there. He from Compton. Yeah, he probably want to go back home anyway.
With the Clippers and the Lakers, he would fit with those teams.
I'll take a chance on him though.
Yeah, he probably would fit with those teams. Who knows what they're thinking out in San Antonio? You know. If they want to. If they want to say, hey, this is it, we're done. We're not going to make they'll probably make the playoffs, but they're not winning the championship with those two guys. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, they might be looking, let's go ahead and get something for them now, unless they want to try to keep them. I don't know.
Yeah. And what odds?
Which team can be a big seller if they fall out, till the deadline? The Pelicans.
Yep.
I think that they have Steven Adams, which can be, he would fit perfectly with the Celtics. Mm-hmm. He's a bruiser, but he also can move and he can score if you pass him the ball in the right position. So, I think they could, sell JJ Redick, Alonzo, Steven Adams. They have several pots they can move there.
They do.
Yeah.
And, they're going to go with the young guys, so.
Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting.
The whole thing is interesting, man.
Interesting, man.
As far as who's gonna make moves and those type of things, I think that it's up in the air. One thing that I wish that the NBA would do, and maybe I'm just being a little bit selfish. I wish that they would have the trade deadline. Just a little bit, instead of having it take place during the middle of the season while the teams are playing, right? No, it would still be in the middle of the season, but I don't want the second half of the season to start yet. Like, make the trade deadline be March 9th, right? So that you can make your trade, and then, you still have time to get that player in, get everything happen, and then you start the second half of your season. Instead of it taking place, March 25th, you've already played, 6-7 games into the second half of your season. I would like to see it where the trade deadline ends, you got the All-Star break. Then after the All-Star break, the trade deadline ends. You still get a week off, right? So that you can ingratiate any players, and then you start playing.
Yeah. I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Instead of, you started the second half of your season, and then now you make a move, and now you got to try to get those players involved and all of that. I don't know. I just think it works better.
I'll be good at the All-Star break because you got a break anyway. Everybody travel, get acclimated to their new city. It'd be nice to do it at the All-Star break. Like, let that trade deadline kick in soon. The All-Star break, get them make a trade. Then once the All-Star game over, everybody going to their destination. You know what I mean? So that'd probably be cool too, to be honest.
Yeah, let the All-Star break be one big, one big party where they just, talk about trades and get things done. It's kind of like that anyway.
Mm-hmm. They rate to be crazy,
but like the baseball winter meeting,
rate to be crazy, man.
Real. But hey, we'll see what's gonna happen. Nate, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, what up?
Good. We're just talking about this playoff race that the Knicks find themselves in the middle of. You know, that nobody expected to happen, but they are here. And, you know, it's cool. I'm going to throw it up on the screen in just a second, but what's going on with you, man?
Well, first things first, shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody. I just want to say I wasn't on the show last night after the game was over because I had to work. But how about Frank, man? I was really happy about him, and I think Josh heard him. I think he heard Josh, and he showed out for Josh.
Everybody mad at me. It's all right. It's okay. Whatever I can do.
I'll tell you one thing about Frank, man. I mean, as much as the guy is dealt with, he still comes out and plays. I mean, he just comes out and plays. It's like he wasn't even out of the lineup. He comes up with his defense. He makes some timely shots. I mean, he just looks composed when he goes out there. He's not going to be the scorer that we wanted him to be, but he just comes out and plays. I mean, I got to give him props for that, man. That's a sign of a true player right there, is a guy who's ready to go at the moment he gets an opportunity.
Hey, that's what he's paid for. That's what his job. He better be ready to go.
But a lot of players don't do that, man. A lot of players don't do that.
If he ain't, he will find himself out of the league real quick. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean?
As far as DeRozan, listen, here's the deal. We need shooters on this team. I like DeRozan. I think DeRozan's a good player. I'm a little worried that if somehow we traded for DeRozan, how him and Barrett would mesh together, because I kind of feel like their games are kind of similar in a way, which neither one can shoot the three. They both rely heavily on the mid-range or getting to the cup. And, you know, both can be passers and playmaker types. I wonder how that dynamic would work.
Easy. Give DeRozan the ball and tell RJ to get the hell out the way. We need a bucket.
I think the Knicks need scorers, not so much shooters.
Exactly.
We need scorers.
I agree with you, Ryan. They need guys that can put the ball in the bucket. But the thing is, when you got a guy like DeRozan and you got a guy like Barrett that, you know, neither one can really spread the court, you're going to have a little bit of a clog once they, you know, get the ball. And honestly, here's the thing. If we somehow, I don't think it's going to happen. I think San Antonio is still going to hold on to DeRozan unless they really feel like they're just going to become sellers. Mm-hmm. I think that if we got DeRozan, Barrett would go to the bench and play with a second team.
Don't say that, Nate. Don't say that.
I'm serious.
And it might work out.
I'm serious, man.
It might work for it. It might help him. I mean, Josh mentioned that earlier, but I agree. It might work better for Barry. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. He would roll with the second team, and he'd be able to get the ball. He'd be able to facilitate if needed, especially with the lack. If for some reason Peyton's still out or whatever, you know, Rose played well last night. I was very impressed the way the pace was and all that. So who knows? You know, I mean, obviously, if you have a chance to get him and you're not giving up a lot, go for it. You know,
right? Half a season,
worth the risk.
I mean, you know what the risk is. I mean, there could be a lot of risk. Any move that you make, you know, there could be a lot of risk. But you know, the risk is he makes $27 million a year, and you're gonna give up. You know, you're definitely gonna give up a young player. You know that's the risk. There's always a risk when you're talking about doing something like that level. You know?
Hey, don't get me wrong. I don't want him. Don't get me wrong. He's not my first choice, my second, third, fourth, or fifth. But if the Knicks said they could get him, I don't even want DeRozan, period. But if the Knicks had a chance to get DeMar DeRozan for this year,
he could put a buck. He could put a bucket, man. He's not the shooter like a Bradley Beal, but he can get buckets, man. He's a very good mid-range shooter.
Yes, sir.
He plays well, getting to the cup, and he's a hell of a playmaker. That's why I think, like I said, if it happened that we got him, Barrett would go to the bench, and I think that would be okay for him. You know,
see, I've never just been a big fan of DeMar DeRozan, though. I ain't even gonna lie. I've never been a big fan of his. Never been a big fan. Now, he's playing well this year and everything, but I've never been a big fan of the guy. You know, but
I haven't either. But he still can put up points.
Yeah, he can.
We desperately need that.
He definitely can. And I want to show you, you know, for those who are watching, you just so you can get a bigger view of the Knicks in the playoff race and, what it looks like. And right now I just got up from 4 to 10. Well, I don't have it up yet. I'm about to bring it up, 4 to 10, and how close it really is. And the Knicks are slam in the middle of it. When you look at this right now, you can see the Pacers 15 to 15. They're 5.5 games in back of the first place team. The Raptors are 16 to 17. They're 6 games back. The Knicks are 6 games back. The Bulls are 6 games back. The Hornets are 6 games back. Then you got the Celtics are 6.5 games back, and the Miami Heat are 6.5 games back. These are numbers 1 through 10 right here. 4 through 10 right here. All bunched up. And right now, if the Knicks are if the Raptors and the Pacers lose tonight, the Knicks can move up to that 4th spot, depending on what the Bulls do, because the Bulls play tonight as well. It's all mixed up in there, ladies and gentlemen. It's all mixed up, but the Knicks are in the middle of the playoffs, and hey, I'm happy about that. No doubt about it. I'm happy about it. Look, I'm going to head up out of here. I appreciate everybody for joining in, and we'll see what happens tonight. I'm going to follow along. Divine, I know you got something going on tonight, right?
Yeah. I put anybody in the panel, and again, I just put the YouTube stream. the StreamYard link in the chat, and I put the YouTube stream in there early. I could do it again. 8:30 tonight, man. Just Knicks Friday night, man. If y'all want to get on, we just talk some Knicks after Sim tonight, man. Just Friday, because I'm so excited about that game tomorrow for the 500. I just wanted to come on tonight, just in case everybody just wanted to get some more talking. So it's 8:30 tonight. I'm gonna put a YouTube stream. I put the link in the StreamYard chat for the panelists, but the other link is in the YouTube chat just for it to be on YouTube, though. It'll be 8:30 tonight.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put your YouTube channel in the chat so people can go check that out.
Okay.
Right? And then they can subscribe to the channel, and then they'll get a notification when it goes live. All right, and I'm going to try to jump on there and hang out for a little while. You said 8:30, right?
8:30. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm putting this in the chat right now, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead over there and subscribe to the channel. This is Divine's Knicks Real Talk. All right, go subscribe to the channel. Check him out at 8:30. I'm going to try to jump on for a couple of minutes, see what's popping with everybody. He'll be live at 8:30, so make sure you go check it out. All right, big shout out to, I just missed it. I just seen it. Where'd it go? Well, I'll get back to it. I'll come around. Andy, anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Happy about the W. Tomorrow's another game. I hope we would get a W there. It's an East Coast, opponent. So like I said before, these games count double for us. And I think we can also get it. I hope we can get it. I think, Sabonis is going to get in the All-Star game on the bench, just around Julius Randle. And, I think they're going to probably have a chat about it even before the game starts. And, I hope we can get them a loss so they feel, right in that, hot mess, a little bit of mess in the East Coast, not above the mess. Just with the teams on hot seats. So
yeah,
I hope it's going to be like that.
Yeah, no doubt. Sean D, thank you for the super chat. You said, I believe that we're going to hear about more moves after the All-Star break. Randle and Worldwide are going to work their magic. Man, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Josh, Uncle Fulio, any last words, man?
Yes. Listen, last night the Knicks scored 140 points, okay? That's not the identity of this team. They're not going to score 140 every night. They're not going to score 120 every night. Their identity is defense. When the Knicks don't play well, typically they win the game. Well on defense, typically they win the game. Now, if the Knicks would have gave up 120 points and they didn't, shoot that well yesterday from the field, everyone would be talking about how poor this defense played, okay? So I just need everybody out there to understand that the Knicks are not going to score 140 points every night. Next game, don't be surprised if they don't score 110. All right? So let's just keep our heads and let's hope the team gets better. and becomes more consistent on defense, which they have been doing the whole season. But I want to see them get back to that stalwart defense that they played in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, no doubt. And one thing that scares me about when you have a night where you shoot so hot, everybody's so hot from the field, you can have a night where nobody is hitting. That's that scares me. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Andy, before I get to Nick.
Yeah, I just forgot one stat that I want to point out. When Frank plays above 15 minutes a game, we are 3-0.
I knew that. You knew that was coming.
Oh man,
we knew that was coming.
Needs more time.
Hey, listen, they are. I think the Knicks are 3-1 this season with Frank playing. 2-1 or 3-1.
3-1. So yeah,
and 3-1 so far with Frank playing.
Yeah.
The proof is in the pudding, ladies and gentlemen. The stats are the stats.
And Sim, not to mention. So Sim, not to mention. I just said on Twitter that the net rating of the Knicks when between Frank and IQ playing together is plus 28.4, but they only play 20 minutes together. So
right, Nate. Some last words. About to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean. Watching this team yesterday, I was really impressed with when they did play at a high pace. They still were able to make some good defensive plays, taking the charges, the running block that Noel had on the guy when he was going to the cup. I think we had some leaks inside and gave us some easy baskets inside, but that can be cleared up with communication. I really think this team can play at a higher pace. I really do. And I mean, we have guys that can get to the cup, and I think if we're moving around and we're passing the ball and all that, that's when this team really can gel and play well. So we'll see what happens going forward.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you check out Divine at 8:30. Putting the link in the chat one more time so you can go sub up the channel. And of course, if you're not subscribed here, make sure that you subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you can be notified anytime I go live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as we get to 15,000 subscribers, I got 2 Obi Toppin rookie cards that we're going to give away to some lucky subscribers. So make sure you subscribe right now. Let's get it up there. I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. As usual, spread love. Gone. Out.